Hey, how's everybody doing out there today? It's another Friday, and so it's another chance for me to go on the air and do another video. I'm going to try to do at least a couple of videos, shorter ones for you today. You know that we're getting ready to do a major Babylon 5 comprehensive coverage with the White Rocket podcast. Jason Albrick and I are going to be watching the entire series from the very beginning to the very end. And we'll be having occasional podcast episodes where we talk about our reactions to it, me being like one of the biggest Babylon 5 fans in the world, in my view, as you're about to find out, and Jared never having seen it before, right? So we're going to kind of walk through together how a newbie and an oldie kind of see it at the same time. Now, in preparation for that, I thought I would do it. I thought this would make a good video topic. Okay, this wouldn't really work well for a podcast, but I thought this would be a fun thing, and particularly for old Babylon 5 fans that maybe used to have some of this stuff or still do and like to, kind of compare notes with another collector. I'm not a huge collector of things, but because Babylon 5 is one of my top 2 or 3 favorite things in the universe, Mr. Garibaldi, because of that, over the years, I have collected maybe a dozen things that I consider really cool Babylon 5 collectibles. And so I'm just going to quickly walk you through my favorite ones that I still have. Some of them have, gone away for whatever reason. Life comes along and happens like that over the last 20 years or so. But actually, I guess going all the way back to 1993, so watch Van do math. 24 years? Wow. So I'm just going to walk through the ones that I have here, and I'm going to show you, okay? And I do this not to brag or anything. I mean, there's probably people that have way better collectibles than me, but I just want to show you what I have, the things that have meant the most to me as a Babylon 5 fan over the years, and I'm going to tell you briefly why they matter to me. Okay, so first off is this T-shirt. Let me stand up. This is going to be an awkward show, by the way, because I'm going to have to get up and get things, so just bear with me if I'm gone from the camera, for periods of time and whatever. Can't be avoided. All right, number one is my T-shirt. This is the Sheridan, It Was the Dawn of the Third Age of Mankind shirt. On the back, I'm not even going to try. On the back, it's got the shield, like the shield with the sword through it and all that, which I love. I love that logo. Somewhere around here, I have a sticker of that I got when it first came out, like in 97 or 96 or something, and I've never stuck it on anything. I like it so much. What was the point of having it if I don't ever stick anything? But anyway, okay, T-shirt. Number 2, and this is again something that probably a lot of people have, and this is something we're taking advantage of to watch the shows right now. I told you it'd be awkward. I have the complete set of DVDs boxed. Now, over the years, I bought a bunch of the VHS tapes. Boy, that was a waste, right? Because they cost probably more for 2 episodes than this cost for the entire season. But I got these cool season-by-season box sets. So I've got the 5. I've got all 5 seasons, plus the movie collection. Ooh, right, which has got The Gathering and In the Beginning and Third Space and what River of Souls, A Call to Arms. So all 5 movies. See, Jared doesn't know yet, but we're going to be watching those too. And by the way, I just finished watching The Gathering, the pilot movie, a couple of days ago, and I have a lot to say about that. And I'm very curious what he thinks about it since, A, it was done a year before the series even started, and B, the cast dramatically changes, and some of the acting is not great, and the story doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's still awesome, and it still was our first look at Babylon 5. So I've got a lot to say about The Gathering. I think you're really going to enjoy the podcasts that we're going to be doing going through the show. Okay, and also I've got things like the Legend of the Rangers, about which maybe the less said the better, and of course The Lost Tales that JMS produced years later on a very low budget, and the pièce de résistance. Ta-da! I love Crusade so much. I want to cry just thinking about it. Oh, Long Lost Crusade. I've got that too. I have Peter Woodward stories that I'm not sure I can even tell on the air from Dragon Con. He enjoys Atlanta. Leave it at that! Some would say too much. I forget where the camera is sometime. I'm like the newsman on CNN, and they move the red light around, and I'm like, okay, you're over here. Got it. Okay, so there's the DVD set. You're not impressed yet. Of course. How about the pins? I used to have more. Oh, wait, before I do the pins, I almost forgot. Somewhere around here I have the poster, but it got water damaged, and I'm not sure if I even have it anymore, but I've still got the Shadow Watch. Put it in front of my face so it'll focus on it, maybe. This is the Sierra FX video game promotional watch that they sent out to Babylon 5 fans as they were preparing to release the video game that never happened. Now, I know some private people were working to try to make skins for other games to do Babylon 5, but the actual Sierra FX game that was supposed to be like a starship piloting game, you were flying a Star Fury, I think, around the different environments of Babylon 5. It never happened. I had the poster of it, and I've still got my Shadow Watch. Okay, the pins. I have them on display in my bedroom, so I had to bring the little box down. But I've got, let's see, in order of less impressiveness, I've got the actual official Psycor pin badge. So you can wear this and people will know you're possibly reading their mind. This one I like a lot. I've got the Earth Alliance pin. Put it in front of my shirt so you can see it. I like that logo. That's pretty neat. I wore this for the first Babylon 5 LARP that we did at Dragon Con back around 1999, 2000, somewhere in there. I was Sheridan. Thing is very pokey. And then I've got the obligatory, really nice... Crap! Whoops! Maybe I don't have it anymore. The obligatory Ranger pin. This is what all the Rangers wore. It's supposed to represent a Minbari and a human, and then something else. I don't know. It's really just a sort of a lacquered bubble on a metal. It's got the official logo on the back with the shield. So that was pretty cool. Lord knows how much money I probably spent on these things back in the day. You know the one great collectible, Babylon 5 collectible that I do not own at all are the script books that JMS started putting out around 2005. The reason I know he started putting them out around 2005 is that is when I quit my job in Atlanta, my 3 jobs in Atlanta, moved to Singapore and had no money. So when those books started coming out, if they'd come out 2 years earlier, I would have spent half of every paycheck on those things if I could have. But they just started coming out at a time when I had no money at all, and I knew I would never be able to get them. I've never touched them. I've never seen them in person. That's like the biggest glaring hole in my Babylon 5 memorabilia collection is that I don't have any of the script books or any of the stuff. Once I missed out on the beginning of it, once I got a new job and could get stuff, I'd missed out on so many. I'm just like, just forget it. The train has left the station and I was not on it, so I don't have those. So if you have those, you're better off than me in a big major area of Babylon 5 collectible fandom. Okay. Another thing is that there were the awesome, I'm trying to think who made them. Mongoose made, and somebody else, I don't think it was just Mongoose, made the little metal ships for the Starship Combat tabletop game. And so I loved them. I never played the game, but here's my favorite one in terms of the work I put into it. They're made out of metal parts. You had to super glue them together and then paint them. And I did some detail work with a micron pen too. So here is my Narn, my Narn Cruiser. And I did it all myself. Very proud of this one. Okay. My watch wants to come over and blow it up now. But I did all that tiger striping with a little tiny thin micron pen. So I've got a bunch. I've got some Centauri ships. I've got some Omegas from Earth. Here's the one I've never built just because it's so cool I'm afraid I'll ruin it. This is a very rare one I got at Dragon Con years ago. Yes. The Excalibur from Crusade. I have the miniature. You want to see? You want to see? I'll open it up. Here's the gorgeous, gorgeous Excalibur. This is what these ships look like when you get them, okay? And you have to use super glue to put them together. And when I made all those, it's in several pieces here. Here's another, yeah. I got so much super glue on my fingers when I made those, the ones I did make, it took the skin off my hands for a while, and it was terrible. So I'm for several reasons, I'm reluctant to build the Excalibur, but I just like owning it. This episode could get weird. Let's see what else I've got. So the metal miniature ships, the books. Oh, the books. Yeah, I've got some books, and probably most of you that are big Babylon 5 fans have a lot of the books too. I used to have the season by season episode guide books that were official, but they were kind of worthless because they didn't tell you anything you didn't already know. They didn't have a lot of dirt, you know. Whereas these two books, these are among my. Okay, I'm coming back. These are among my prized possessions, Babylon 5. The Babylon File and the Babylon File Volume 2 by Andy Lane. These were, these were unauthorized, and they are behind-the-scenes guides to every episode, to the writing, to the secret things that are going on, things to look for. These were absolutely fantastic reads when the show was on the air, and we were all trying to solve the mysteries. The only down part, as I remember, is that he didn't like how the show ended. So the first book is very optimistic. It's like with anything where, you know, when you don't know the answer, you can imagine what you want it to be. So Volume 1 is like, oh, this could be this and this and this, and there's tons of speculation in here, and it's so fun. And then you read this one, he's kind of like, it wasn't what I thought, so I'm disappointed. And you're like, eh. So if you're going to read one of these, the first one is really great. It only goes through like season 3, maybe. And it has some of the comics too. Oh, I forgot the comics. Hold on. All right, I'm looking for some more stuff. Sorry to abandon you. All right, I'm going to get down several books. I'm going to get down several books here and show you. Go ahead and knock this out at once. Oh, and now my stuff starts falling over. This is good television, everybody. I know you're enthralled. But the comics, I don't know where the comics are. Somewhere around here behind me. This is one of the advantages and disadvantages of having my studio and my main bookcase in the same place. Let me look one more place. No. Okay, well, somewhere around here are my comics. I've got the DC, because obviously Warner owns DC and Warner Domestic Television did Babylon 5. Somewhere around here I have the Babylon 5 comic books. And there were the early ones that were done that were okay. And then there was a later series that actually picked back up on the Babylon 4 storyline, and that was really good. So and I think JMS wrote it. That needs to be out in trade paperback, and it may be. But I think it was called In Valen's Name or something like that. But it actually picked up on Babylon 4 after War Without End Part 2. So that's well worth having. It's somewhere back here, but I'm not going to waste your time looking. Okay, as far as the books go, Dell put out 9. I think it was 9, like this. This is the one, though, of all of them that's worth having. This is the one that's worth having because, A, Straczynski's wife, Catherine Drennan, at least at the time, she wrote it. And so, you know, she could just lean across the breakfast table and say, what about this? What, you know, she had instant access to the creator. Also, this one provides a lot of background information about Sinclair and Catherine Sakai. In fact, looking at this now, I can't believe that when I met Julie Nixon, I didn't take this book for her to sign. I talked to her about Noble House. I got her to sign my Catherine Sakai collectible card game card, which I'll show you in a minute. But I forgot this book has her on the cover. Dang. So there's a lot about Marcus. There's a lot about Catherine Sakai and Sinclair in this book. This is like the one. I think the one before it was about how Anna Sheridan and the Shadows, you know, get together. I'm trying to avoid spoilers. But this one is the one, okay. After this, Del Rey took over the Babylon 5 book franchise, and they did 3 trilogies. Again, most of you probably know this, but I've got these. So one is the Bester trilogy with Garibaldi and Bester in it, obviously. This is a really good before, during, and after kind of storyline about Bester and the Psi Corps. Well worth it. Then they did the Holy Grail of Babylon 5 fiction. Oh, the magazines. I keep remembering stuff that I didn't think of when I was putting this together a while ago. I have almost a complete collection of the Babylon 5 magazine that Titan Publications put out. And I'm friends now with Lou Anders, and Lou, actually, the reason I met him was because he was on a panel at a convention I was at. We might have even been on the panel together. And I went up to him, I said, "Lou, you wrote the articles in the Babylon 5 magazine." And he gave me a big, this is the first time we met in person, and he gave me a big hug because he said, "Nobody ever reads the byline. Nobody ever reads who wrote those articles in those fan magazines." I'm like, "Oh, I do," so I knew it was him, and we've become friends since then. So I've got a bunch of those magazines, and they're great. They're great collectibles. Oh, and the action figures. There's another thing I forgot. Somewhere around here in my studio, I've got a box with those, like, Mego size, I can't see my other hand, those Mego sized action figures of the main characters. And they also came with little spaceships, too, little plastic spaceships. So I got those around here, too, somewhere. I even won an extra Captain Sheridan action figure at Dragon Con doing Babylon 5 trivia back around 1998, I think it was. But anyway, so this is the Holy Grail. This is the Centauri trilogy. Legions of Fire, The Long Night of Centauri Prime, Legions of Fire, Armies of Light and Dark, and, oh, there it is, Out of the Darkness. This is the Peter David trilogy, and this is the one that actually answers the question, what happens with the Drock and David Sheridan and Londo when he's old, and Sheridan being held captive on Centauri Prime, and what happens to the Centauri being under the control of the Drock. All the answers to that are in this book. They didn't print many of them, and I used to see this on eBay for $150. So this is, I need to reread these sometime, but this is prized possession. And then, and I don't think it got nearly enough attention, Gene Cavalos wrote the Technomage trilogy, which is casting shadows, summoning light, and invoking darkness. And there's Galen and Kosh. What a great combination there. So those are the 3 Del Rey trilogies, and they are all really good, very well done. They got 3 very good authors. I didn't mention that Greg Keyes wrote the Psi Corps trilogy, of course. He's a well-known fantasy author and science fiction author. Okay, a couple other books. I have the TV guide from Season 4 to Season 5, I believe it is. There's a really good article in here on the show. There's a great photo of the crew there, 5 alive. Okay, that's pretty cool. Another one of my prized collectibles I've kept all this time. And finally, here's one that's really rare. The Parliament of Dreams, Conferring on Babylon 5. This was a conference that was held in Britain around 1999-2000, and they did an academic conference on themes from Babylon 5. And I was able to get a copy of this book from them, and it's pretty cool. It was put together by, let me see, I kept the invoice letter that was in it, by Foundation, the International Review of Science Fiction, which was the University of Reading, and the Science Fiction Foundation. So that's pretty cool. Another neat collectible. Okay, and then also up there on my bookcase, I have the old VHS copy of Babylon 5 bloopers. I need to find a way to put this on DVD or video file or something like that. I mean, I was kind of disappointed in it when I finally got it because, and you can probably get these at any, any good dealer room nowadays, but it was hard to get for a while. And it really is like an hour of people starting to say their line and then laughing. And that gets old after 5 minutes to me. Maybe it's just me. But anyway. All right, I'm going to set this aside here for just a second because the last few things I have to show you are a little bit bigger and I don't want to knock stuff cattywampus, as they say. Whoops. Bear with me. Whoops. Well, there went some collectible value. I'm looking. Okay. Next up is... Oh, yeah. Here's another collectible. Hold on. Got some schmutz on it. If you can hear me. This is my Babylon 5 crew jacket. This was gotten from the Babylon 5 fan club when they had just a few of these on sale. It's got the Ranger patch. I mean, it's got the, I'm sorry, wrong side of the camera here. It's backwards on my screen. It's got the Ranger patch, the Babylon 5 Army of Light patch. It's got, see, it's hard, it's backwards on my screen. The Babylon 5 logo. And then on the back, woo, Babylon 5 logo. The 5th season jackets, and I saw Robin Atkin Downs, Byron, at Dragon Con one year. They had the shield logo on the back, like the, that thing we just saw on the back of the pins. It's got the diagonal slash, it's got the sword. And it was more of like a baseball jacket, like that polyester. This is like cotton, heavy duty with a zipper. This is heavy duty with a nice satin lining inside. So this cost me not a whole lot, honestly, because it was original. I wasn't buying it as a collectible from somebody else. I bought it from Babylon 5 as they were making a few extras of the crew jackets. So I got a pretty good deal on this, and I don't wear it very often because it's so nice. Okay. All right, let's see what else. Again, this is going to be awkward here as I climb around for the last few things. The lithographs. Okay. I'm going to go get it. This is my authentic big James Cooker Babylon 5 lithograph. See, it's got most of the cast circa season 5 on it. And you'll also notice I had it in a frame and it fell off the wall and the glass shattered, and look what it did. See there? That line was cut like a razor blade by the glass when it broke. This is number 466. My friend Bobby, some of you know, Bobby Polite, he has one of these with a lower serial number, but mine's 466. Okay. Hold on. Coming back. Then there's this one. These both used to be in frames, but I had to take them out when I moved. So now they're just mounted on board, but they're loose. This was done by not by Lightspeed, but by Hugh Fleming. And it's signed by him down here, as well as the print signature. And what I like about it, it's very rare. Get the chair out of the way. What I like about it is that he made Londo the Darth Vader head in the background, the big bad villain looking character in the background. I'm trying to curve it so the light doesn't glare on it. So you can see that rather than Jakar being in the villain position like he was in the early seasons stuff, this actually puts Londo in the villain position. I think that's very interesting, isn't it? Okay. I love this one. I got to get it back on the wall soon. I've had these stored away safe. All right, and the last, I don't have any editing software, so this is all pretty much live. I'm sorry, I would correct that. The last of the pictures, lithographs, is I have a smaller version of the big one. This is framed in glass. This is just a smaller print of the big lithograph that was broken, that was cut. But this one, I have nearly everybody on it signed it. I finally caught up with Claudia Christian at Archon just a few months ago and got her to sign it. I've got everybody. I've even got those who have sadly passed away. I've got Stephen Franklin to sign it, Richard Biggs. I got, I was never able to get Zach to sign it. I have Andreas in gold here, Andreas. I have just about everybody sign it, except the only people that didn't sign it. Oh, and down here at the bottom, it says To Van JMS, or Joe Michael Straczynski, whatever. I met Straczynski at Heroes Con, I want to say in maybe 2006, and got him to sign it down here at the bottom. So it's got almost the entire cast, plus Joe Straczynski. The only people I didn't get to sign it now, other than, of course, Zach, and that's never going to happen, are Lita, Pat Tallman, and Jeffrey Willerth, I believe, in the Kosh suit. And the thing is, the year before I got this, they were both together at Dragon Con, and I met them, but I didn't own this yet, so I had no idea. So it will forever probably be stuck with the people it has now. But that's pretty good, huh? I'm pretty proud of this one. Okay, let's see. Last couple of things. Two things left. One are my cards. I've bought over the years tons and tons and tons of Babylon 5 collectible card game. You know, quite a few of the boxes contained pre-autographed cards. I've got quite a few of those, but I've also accumulated quite a few that I met the actor and got them to sign. So let me just show you a sample, okay? I've got, in addition to my boxes of pre-prepared decks, I've got this big binder. I forgot where I got that picture from. It's got Zathras on it. Oh, and it's got Jakar on the back. Okay. Oh, yeah, and it's got a great set of promo posters. There's Morden with the Shadows, Evolve or Die. Here's Severed Dreams and Crusade with Peter down there. I like these little mini posters. Here's the An Lashak set, which I believe is the one they never actually printed, with everybody who's a ranger or head ranger. Here's the Wheel of Fire from the 5th season. Trying to get out of the glare, but still let you see it. I just figure some of you have never seen these. And then, yeah, I've got some autographed actor pictures here. I'm not gonna see. I had Claudia's picture, but signed, but I didn't have the lithograph signed. So, okay. So here's a few samples just to kind of show you what I mean. I was excited to get Julia Nixon, Talia Winter, blanking on her name, Andrea Thompson, Box Leitner, Mira Furlan, Claudia Christian, both versions of what's his name? I'm sorry, I'm blanking out under pressure, but it's Jack the Ripper and Lorien, Londo. Quite a few here. Max, I met Max from Crusade. Peter Woodward. That one, I didn't meet Mr. Morden. Ed Wasser, that came in the box. I met Darina. I got Max to sign the IPX card too. I figured that was appropriate. Oh yeah, I met the Emperor Cartagia, got him to sign it. That's pretty much it. After that, it's just cards. I have a signed Bester one somewhere too. But those are like my most prized ones. Then obviously, as you can see, that's a lot of Babylon 5 cards that I stashed away. And I've got 3 more binders of them, which I will spare you. I don't think there's anything original in them. Nah. Very fun game though. Very fun card game. It's like the only game that's that complicated that I've ever spent that much time learning. All right. We're going to bring this thing in right around half an hour. So here's my last thing to show you. You've seen all these other things. Here's probably my prized Babylon 5 possession. And that is... Coming back. A uniform. from the actual people who created the uniforms in Los Angeles. Let me pull the plastic up so you can see it better because it's going to put glare on it. I got them back around 1998 as the show was going off. Oh, this is the vest. To manufacture me a uniform using the same materials. So it's got the same leather. It's got the same stat bars, more or less, and the same metal work. I had another seamstress go in and redo these because the company that did these did kind of a terry cloth thing for the trim, and I didn't like that. Even if that was authentic, I thought this looked more authentic. So if I hold it back, you can see there's the vest. Behind the vest, you can see the actual uniform with the patches and everything. It's in that plastic, but you can still see. Sadly enough, it doesn't fit me anymore. I've gained too much weight the last 10 years. It fit me for quite a long time. I've got the belt back here. The only thing with a buckle and the little communication device. The only thing I don't have is I used to have a PPG, the gun. We had fun with that at Dragon Con one year where one of my good Babylon 5 friends, who's a redheaded girl, redheaded woman, she was playing Lita Alexander and I was Sheridan, and so we took a picture with me holding the gun up to her head from the Wheel of Fire from the 5th season episode. That was pretty fun. So, all right, I'm going to set this down so I can sign off because this is heavy. All right. So, like I say, I forgot the magazines, the action figures, the comics, but everything else I've showed you pretty much. Those are my most beloved Babylon 5 collectibles. So, I hope you enjoyed this little walk down at least my memory lane, and maybe it revived some memories for you too. You probably have, if you're a Babylon 5 fan, you probably have quite a few of these, and you probably have quite a few I don't have. So I'm insanely jealous just imagining what you probably have out there. But we'll stay tuned coming up in the days and weeks to come as Jared and I, and an occasional special guest, we'll have different people on as a third party, go through and talk about Babylon 5 nitty-gritty, in depth, from the very beginning to the very end. All right, the Rocket video is going to get on out of here for another episode. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next time. Down the road.